Welcome to the Diplomat recap. A massive explosion aboard British aircraft carrier HMS Courageous. It has killed at least 25 British personnel. Sprung into political turmoil, US diplomat Kate Weiler is strangely called in to brief the White House instead of her husband Ambassador Howe. At the White House, Billy Appiah, Chief of Staff, wants to send her to the UK as an ambassador instead of Kabul. With the backing of President Rayburn, she agrees. Boarding the plane to the UK, she is greeted by Stuart Hayford, Deputy Chief of Mission. Greeting her staff and housekeeper Munning, Kate and Howe's relationship is falling apart, and they are due for a divorce soon. Unable to sit in the back seat, Howe calls to retrieve information on which country shot down the ship. At the office, Kate listens into a call with the Prime Minister and President, where Trowbridge believes it is Iran. US Secretary of State and her boss Gannon agree with the Prime Minister, but they want to quench this, as it could lead to a war. Gannon wants to fire her, believing she is unqualified for the job, and also because Howe had to overstep and partially do her job. In the meantime, Kate meets British Foreign Secretary of State Austin Dennison. She pays her respects, and is advised against seen talking with Margaret Roylin, a Tory that is embroiled in scandal. They set up for a photo shoot, because you can't fire Cinderella. Still on the brink of a divorce, they pose for photos as a couple. Like Cinderella, Howe is whisked away and drugged, kidnapped. Foreign agents meet with him, that of Iran diplomat Shaheen, a secret friend of theirs. He is informed that Iran isn't the cause of this, even though the perpetrator was using an Iranian boat, offering up a former general that they were going to assassinate. Releasing him back to their estate, Kate cuddles up with him to try and extract information on who he may have called. It was Shaheen. This complicates their diplomatic relations. They gather for the memorial of the fallen British personnel. Prime Minister Trowbridge is called out for not acting on Iran. This leads him to promise to rain hellfire on them if it is confirmed. The President announces his meeting in the UK. Unable to cancel it with Gannon, she blames Howe for their dilemma. She wants him to leave after they are done with this meeting. He drops a bombshell. She can't be divorced because they are testing her for vice presidency, as the current vice president is about to retire. Greeting the president, she later confronts them about testing her for vice presidency. She is in between choosing to accept or decline the job. With Howe already knowing this for months, keeping it a secret, and pretending to cry when they agreed to have their divorce, she lashes out a bit. They receive information from Romanian intelligence that the man that shot the rocket at the warship fled to Russia. Without a way to set up a meeting with Iranian ambassadors, she happens to run into Foreign Secretary of State Austin Dennison, requesting for him to invite over the Iranian ambassador. They orchestrate the plan to ensure that no one knows that Kate is coming to the meeting. She shows up to the event at their estate, sneaking off for the bathroom as she heads up to the meeting spot. Greeted by Dennison, they wait for the Iranian ambassador to arrive. He is shocked to find the US ambassador there, but trying to hastily reveal that the person who ordered the rocket was Roman Lenkov, a Russian mercenary. Knowing this information could cost him his life, they burned the page. Strangely, the Iranian ambassador begins to choke. As he falls over, Kate quickly rushes out, as Dennison alerts paramedics. Re-emerging outside, she pretends that she had followed the medics into the office, warning Dennison to ensure that they move the Iranian ambassador to the hospital so they can claim that he died there. In the aftermath, they share a drink and think on how screwed they are, keeping their story straight, that she wasn't there at the scene but arrived after. They share an intimate moment, in a manifestation of guilt and a deep bond beyond the intricacies of a diplomatic political one. Howe and Kate end up sleeping together. On the outside, CIA station chief meets with a Russian agent on the field, revealing that it wasn't Iran, but Russia. Being in a relationship with Idra, Stuart has to keep it a secret. Being from different intelligence agencies means his public perception of loyalties could be conflicted. The next day, even with pheromones flaring, Kate reiterates that their marriage is still over. He is now her arm candy that she can frolic whenever she wants. The security detail checks block their next route. They are worried the Foreign Secretary of State might try to poison her, as the last ambassador seen with him was deceased. They are introduced to Dennison's sister and former British ambassador, Cecilia Dennison, and by happenstance, the Prime Minister is in the neighbourhood. He joins their meeting, proclaiming a change, as now they know that Lenkov from Russia ordered the hit. With fierce rage, he wants to do something to consolidate power for the UK, as 41 servicemen in total have died. With no solution to appease Trowbridge's ideals, they are left in the room to brainstorm. Meanwhile, Howe explores the land with Cecilia, even getting venturous enough to search for the purple Martians, a different breed of bird, and as promised, he doesn't interfere with Kate's career. Having a picnic with Cecilia, he tries to cheat, but is unable to. He can't get it up for anyone who isn't his wife. Returning to her side, He begs Kate to take him back, and mockingly she calls him out for being a saint, that he has changed from his manipulative, power-hungry ways, and now that he wants to be with her, for her. Strangely, he agrees. With this out of the way, she knows the solution. She contacts the DoD. They have given her a list of important structures that they can bomb in Russia. Getting a quick snack before heading to bed, they run into Trowbridge. She pitches him the idea of not bombing the Russians, but instead calling out the perpetrators. This could spark a spotlight on their cannibal parties, enforcing economic and political repercussions from the US and its allies. Initially receptive, she begins to consolidate this idea by waking up her entire team and pitching the idea to Dennison, which he misinterprets and accidentally confesses to liking her, beyond friends. Moving forward, he will pitch the idea as a person of the US government. It would make Trowbridge more likely to agree due to his nationalistic tendencies. Come morning, he disagrees with this idea. They are able to control the situation as Kate orchestrates a leak that suggests Libya might be involved, as Libya is in a civil war and has recently made advancements because of this conflict. Trowbridge is unable to retaliate against the Russians as intel is unclear. They celebrate this victory and Kate stopping a potential nuclear war. They aim to destroy the Lenkov company in Libya. In her personal relationship with Hal, he agrees to step down and only assist as a housewife. She meets with Russian Ambassador Balakin. He begins to lecture her, handing her a note with instructions. She sneaks off to the secret room, where Kate is informed that Lenkov is staying in Paris for a month. Offering up Lenkov could mean that the Russians didn't actually do it, or it is a trap. With this new information, they run this by Trowbridge. Arresting Lenkov could mean they avoid a nuclear disaster. Kate is sent back to the US for a briefing with the president. She runs into longtime friend and Ambassador Jill. They both survived in Kabul, where their entire security detail was blown up in a tour. In the traumatic event, they barely managed to make it out alive. Conversely, Hal still believes that Kate will go for vice presidency, and at the office he runs into Lewis, also a longtime friend. He is taken out for an overcooked steak. He believes that Hal is going to run for Secretary of State. On a side tangent, after Kate had leaked the potential Libya involvement, Gannon was mad that she didn't talk to him, and instead went to the press. A lack of communication could undermine him. Also, that rumors of Gannon wanting to run for president emerged. This could mean that his loyalties to the president is questionable. With these ideas swirling around the noodles in their head, they go to sleep. Stewart had convinced Idra not to move to Cairo and halt her career by staying in the UK, but he also later reveals that if Kate fails to get vice presidency, he will be promoted and move back to DC. This conflicting narrative makes Idra break up with him. They travel to Paris, preparing for when Lenkov will be arrested. Unable to make the speech, Hal takes over, and he meets Amaret Grove, a member of the parliament. Relaying this information to Kate, she doesn't want them to meet back up, fearing that he is using this route to try and get back in as Secretary of State, believing that she was being manipulated the entire time. Sending Stewart and Ronnie to cancel Hal and Grove's meeting, Kate and Dennison meet with a representative of the French government to request that Lenkov be arrested. Initially declined, they run into each other at a ball. Pulled aside, she admits that the form had been approved, but wonders why they would put a kill order on Lenkov, as Paris police have been informed not to respond. Horrified and confused why she would be lied to, she leaves the venue. Trailing behind her, Dennison is also confused. As Foreign Secretary of State, he would have had to confirm the kill form. The only reason someone would want to kill Lenkov is so that it wouldn't reveal who had hired him. Piecing the puzzle together, they realized that Trowbridge had hired him to bomb the warship, to consolidate his power and unify the UK against a common foe. As this is occurring, Ronnie makes it to the meet with Grove, to tell him that Hal is unable to meet, and that Stewart will be taking up his position instead. As Hal tries to intercept him, a car bomb goes off, catching all four of them in this. Kate is quickly told of this result. This is where the season ends. Make sure to subscribe, and for more, watch this.